See how this goes. Live from the modem room. Live from the modem room. The Borg studios of PrepperNow. Oh, this is dumb. This is dumb. This is dumb. Okay, so I think that's what I called this. These are stories that I find to be kind of bordering on the absurd. So first and foremost, don't buy a Cybertruck. Second, but this is this is a fun one. Okay, so I don't know about you, but I was part of the management team back in the day, and we would have to have certain things that were required of the people that came and worked for us. Okay, and one of those was showing up when you were required to be there. Okay, so you know, I actually got fired from a job. I was working in Redmond, Washington, north of Seattle. And I lived in West Seattle, and it was really tough to get to work because of traffic. I wasn't used to it. And I went to this job, and they hired me, and no other places really would hire me. In fact, at the time, I was still doing stupid crap to my body, and I had an actually really good job that was offered, but I had to pass a drug test, and I knew at that time I wasn't going to pass it. So I forewent that one for another place that was farther away, you know, and took the job. And after about 3 weeks, I got fired, and the reason why is because I was never on time. I was always late. No matter how hard I tried, there was always traffic. So eventually, you know, I showed up, kept showing up late, and I got fired. And then I landed at another job in Seattle, and again, doing stupid things. This was actually one of my first management positions. Second management position in a restaurant. And it was a breakfast spot, so we had to be up early. Had to be there like 6 a.m. And I did it for a while. But one night I showed up super late, or you know, one morning, I didn't go to bed, and I showed up super late, and they said we can't have you anymore. We don't trust you to open up the restaurant on time, because the owner, knowing that it was a breakfast spot, who would come and help from time to time, but really just wanted to be an owner. She was mad, and she had to open up the restaurant. So I got in there, and she said, "Look, this isn't working, and we're gonna have to let you go." It's actually the last job I got let go from, and the reason why is because I wasn't on time. Now, the good news about that is, at that point was really when I decided to get sober. It was actually, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget walking in there, seeing her making coffee and getting things ready, you know, hair all tousled up and everything, you know, not really wanting to be there, but having to be there because the guy that was supposedly running the show, and had for about 8 months, screwed up and didn't get there on time. And it was a busy brunch. We did really big brunches, very busy. And yeah, I wasn't on time, and I lost my job. And the good news is I got sober. It kind of was one of the things that really woke me up. I said, wow, you know, I'm losing jobs and I'm having problems. And then I would move to New York City and finally figure out that I was the problem. And the problem was that I was drinking too much, and I couldn't work. I couldn't function. I wasn't a functioning human being. And always problems were persisting. So So thank God I wasn't on time because it did wake me up. But at no point did anybody ever say, you know what, being on time is a part of the primacy culture, according to Duke Medical School claims. And evidently, I'm starting off with this one because this is just kind of absurd. I mean, it really is. So Duke Medical School claims that it is a cultural thing to expect people to be on time in a strategic plan, creating an anti-racist workforce. So I've been employed my entire life. I've been employed since I was 14. Okay, 14, actually before, if you include doing mowing lawns and stuff. But 14 is kind of when I started to get jobs. I remember working at local restaurants. I'd bus tables, I'd mow lawns, babysit the neighbors and stuff. Yeah. I was always expected to be on time. All my jobs growing up. If I don't show up to my job on time, it's not anything to do with my skin color. It has anything to do with your skin color. These are things that are required in a modern workforce for it to function. If no one is there to, say, unlock and open the door of whatever the business is, or answer the phones, or whatever is required of you, business is not going to be done, and they're not going to last too long. And I can assure you right now, in this current environment with all of the businesses having problems, staying afloat, that having your employees show up on time would be a really good thing. We had to fire people in my bar management position because they weren't on time. They're normally crappy workers too. There's a correlation generally between not being on time and being a crappy worker. Because you're not responsible. It's a responsibility thing. Let's be honest. So saying that you're not on time is something having to do with your hemoglobin is probably one of the dumbest things ever. It actually has nothing to do with the hemoglobin. It has to do with your personal culture. Your personal culture is one of not giving a crap and not caring about whatever it is you've been tasked to do. My wife says, hey, I need you to be tomorrow. I've got 2 things I got to go to. And one's, at 11 and another's at 4. And I have to be there on time. If not, well, she's going to get mad at me and we're going to miss stuff. And these are important things. At no point am I going to claim racial disparity because of that. And so this is peak absurdity. Let's be honest. This is the kind of things, folks, that are peak absurdity. Now, I get saying, certain cultures have not had the opportunities and all that. I get that. But saying that, being on time is a structure of oppression is, I honestly think you need to be smacked. I do. Not like, violently or anything, but you need to wake up. You might need to be backhanded to wake up. Nothing hard. Nothing's going to knock you out. Just kind of a nice smack across the cheek to say, hey, wake up. You're an idiot. So, there's a lot of idiocy in the world. There's a lot of things that are dumb. And that's why I entitled this right here. This is another one. Moving on from that. That's peak absurdity over there. We're gonna there's no one can defend that. I'm sorry, no one can defend that. If I'm paying you to show up and I say be there at 8 a.m., you better freaking be there at 8 a.m. Otherwise, I'll give you 1. I might even give you 2. If you got kids or whatever, or things, or maybe there's transport problems. There's always things. Maybe you come in at 8:02. Okay, no big deal. But if you're like showing up at 8:47 consistently, you're going to lose your job. Here's another one. So of course, the environment is number one on people's minds for the election coming up. No, actually, no, it's not. Now, is it hot out? Yeah, it's summer. Things get hot. Was there a hurricane? Yeah, we're in hurricane season. It's early, but we're in hurricane season. So all these things, are effect. But carbon. Last time I checked, if I passed basic science in school, carbon is kind of what makes plants grow, and plants create oxygen. Am I missing something here? Is there something about that little basic seventh grade science, description I just gave? Is there something off? Maybe I'm off. Am I off? So gassy cows and pigs will face a carbon tax in Denmark, a world's first. This is from a few weeks, like a week or so, but it's going to play into something else. And again, peak absurdity. So Denmark will tax livestock. First of all, Europe's messed up, man. I don't know what they're doing over in Europe. They need to fix it. Denmark will tax livestock farmers for the greenhouse gases emitted by cows and sheep and pigs from 2030. The first country to do so as it targets major source methane emissions. Someone called me out last night because I did a triple Klaus. We're going to do one right now. You know that it's Klaus, Klaus, Klaus. You know it is. You know it's WEF based. Some D-bag that just got out of a university and said all the right things and went to all the right classes and hates himself for whatever hemoglobin he's got. Probably wrote this stupid thing. Methane emissions, one of the most potent gases contributing to global warming and all that. Now, is it getting hot? Yeah. Do we have really good records that go back thousands of years? No. I know that the sun affects stuff. It's currently making it hot. So I'm not going to play, I'm not going to say yes, I'm not going to say no. I'm going to keep an open mind, but I'm also going to keep things relative to the fact that we as humans are a very, very, very tiny blip in the existence of this planet. In fact, I saw once a description of the timeline of Earth as played out on a football field, right? And the time that man comes into view on that football field representation, it's literally on the 1 centimeter mark to the goal line. Like our history here is very, very new. So claiming that things have never been like this before that's a tough thing to push. Aim is to reduce Danish greenhouse gas emissions by 70% from 1990 levels to 2030. Ooh, there's that magic number again, 2030, 2030, 2030. Klaus, 2030. What is it about it? As of 2030, Danish livestock farmers will be taxed 300 krona per ton of carbon dioxide equivalent in 2030. The tax will increase to 750 kroner, or 108. That is, I don't know if you've noticed farming. I don't know if you know anything about farming. Farming is incredibly expensive now. I know this because my wife's family has farmers, and they don't really make anything. It's literally like a love of doing it. You're doing it because you're never gonna, you love the culture, you love all about it, and you're never gonna be super rich. But it's your family, it's your blood, it's all that, right? So this is going to hurt farmers. It's going to hurt food. Actual cost per ton will be 120 kroner, 17.3 increase 3. But just still more attacks on farmers. Although carbon dioxide, I don't know if Klaus and his buddies know that we're fed by farmers, right? I don't know if they know that, but we do. Food doesn't just show up in a space shuttle from Mars and open up and start to float to the Earth and give everybody food. It actually comes from places. So they want to be climate neutral by 2045. So they want any kind of emissions whatsoever. Maybe there's some kind of like energy system that'll be created, anything like that. But 2045 is an incredibly, it's very quick. That is a very ostentatious goal. 2045. So, of course, New Zealand's passing it. That's why all the richies want to live there. But, you know, this is the kind of idiocy that leads to this idiocy. France's left wing reveals a plan to introduce 90% tax on annual income over 400,000 euros, okay? So if you make 400,000 euros, you're going to be left with 40,000 euros after they take everything else. Now, I'm highlighting the fart tax from cows in Denmark, which will spread across the EU. And then this idiocy on 90%, and trust me, Klaus won't be affected. But a 90% tax on annual income over 400,000 euros. What do you think people are going to do? Okay, because I know a little something about this. I used to live in New York, and it got really expensive. Really expensive. And we started having kids, and we thought, wait a second, it's really expensive. I've got kids. Everything around here is just a little too nutty for me. I've got an idea. Let's move. And we moved. We did. We moved to where my parents were at that time. We moved to Cincinnati. And we lived there for quite a spell. I love Cincinnati. It was a great town. Kind of a Bengals fan, but I've got a first love too. I know the foosball. But we moved there because it was just a better, wiser idea. We voted with our feet. We had car taxes and tax. I mean, there's taxes on everything, literally. The property taxes to this day were nuts. So we said, screw it. We're going to move. We're going to move out. I'm moving out. And we moved out. We got to Ohio, and it was much better. We eventually owned a home there, and we loved it. It was great. And honestly made a good real estate deal on that one. That's what set us up from there, because we couldn't sell our home in the New York City area until 2017, when a guy by the name of Orange Man Bad came in, and we sold it finally. You know, it took a nice loss. But, you know, we held on. We did everything we could. And, you know, besides the loss, honestly, it was worth it because we made it up in other deals. So, God has a plan there. But 90% tax. Let's take a look at this crap. Securing the majority of seats in Sunday's election, newly formed left-wing government in France has revealed plans to impose a 90% tax on wealthier citizens. By the way, $400,000 in France is not that wealthy. Left-wing coalition known as the New Popular Front shocked French politics this last week when it defeated both Emmanuel Macron, I think I called him a bitch last night, Ensemble Party, and Marine Le Pen Front National Rally. Through the NPF, they secured the most seats, 182, because basically Macron made it happen. And it was unable to secure a majority and will now soon face Macron. It'll be chaos, and they'll come up with a lot of idiotic ideas like this one, and then nothing will get done. We're preparing to govern, apply the program which is ours, said Manuel Bompard, coordinator of Franco Unbowed Party, whatever the heck that is. Another clown party. France Unclowned Party. So the planned retirement age would go 64 to 60 years old. So, there you go. I like that. They're all going to retire at 60 in France, right? Live till they're 80. 20 years off the public dime. And an annual income tax rate of 90% will apply to those earning 400,000 euros, approximately 432,736 US dollars, according to Google's money converter tool. There are people here in America that are making $200,000, $180,000, and they're not getting by. They're struggling. So how is this going to... Whoop, sorry about that. Hit the thing. How is this going to affect that? How is this going to make it work? No one is going to stay in a country for $400,000 getting taken off of $360,000 getting taken out of a $400,000 income. No one. They're going to leave. They're going to set up shop. They'll set up shell corporations. They'll move out. They're not going to stay. And then the government's just going to take that money and piss it away. So I don't know what the goal is here, but it's kind of idiotic. So just saying. So in addition, the NPF, by the way, they have a domestic terrorist as one of their new MPs. Congratulations. Read somewhere that Le Pen is under investigation for problems with her campaign and air quotes fraud because she's not a communist, and that's what communists do to their non-communists in countries when they pull this kind of crap. They basically come after you with all they got. Not that we know anything about this in America, would we? Right, Donald? So, NPF has pledged to spend a minimum of 150 billion euros over the next 3 years, and has called for a minimum raise of 14%. Where's all this money going to go? It's called the Laffer curve, folks, if you know anything about American taxes. Guy by the name of Art Laffer, he was under Reagan in the 80s, and he termed this thing, now he's still alive, still teaches academically, this thing called the Laffer curve. And basically, there's a curve of taxation that comes into a person's life. And at this certain point, most people will just be like, F you, I'm out. So I don't know the exact number on that, but it is true, and I'm living proof of that because they Laffer curved my butt right out of New York, and we moved to Ohio, and then eventually we moved to the South, where it's even cheaper. Up here in Central Maryland, it's not too bad. So it's a red part of a blue state. So unexpected results on Sunday. Macron's Prime Minister Gabriel Attal resigned, but the French president asked him to say, "Oh, please stay, please." So I read this great article saying that basically Marine Le Pen needs to sunset herself, and they need to get someone in there like Javier Milei. These old guard conservatives, air quotes, are not doing it. They're not strong enough. They're friends of these people. They need someone to go in like Javier did. And if you saw the videos when he was campaigning, there's this one where he's in front of a whiteboard and he's got all the ministries of BS in his country, these socialist pet projects that were all there. And he's just like, gone. Education department, gone. Housing department, gone. All the stuff. All of it. Taking down to like a basic 3 things where you need to get done. And people got behind it. You know why? Because people were in pain and they got tired of it. He actually just did this new thing called the May Pact. He just signed it. And it looks like it basically says things like your private property is your right. It's all these things that are different rights that you have. Property, your money, all that, right? So it's kind of against this thing right here. So I don't know what they're thinking in France. They're not, obviously. This is going to go terribly. Le Pen needs to probably just sit back and go away. And they need to get someone in like, Canadian Prepper's coming. Here we go. Hold on, Canadian Prepper. Breaking 2 months to the final brutal war, folks. Canadian Prepper said that there's 2 months. You have 2 months, according to Canadian Prepper, okay? You have 2 months. Now you know. You heard it here first. Canadian put it out first. You better believe I'm going to get his notifications. Canadian Prepper notifications, that's coming across the board. You have 2 months, folks. 2 months. 60 days, maybe 61, if you're including, July, because it's 31 days. In August, so maybe 62. 61 days. 62 days. You know what? Act as if there's 60 days. You have 2 months. 60 days. Get it together, folks. CP called it. All right, back to reality. This is not going to work. And, France is going to devolve. It's it's not going to get better. It's going to go downhill. This left coalition is going to get crap done. Everything. All they're going to do is just say, if you're not French, come on in and we're going to give you everything. And then they'll get broker and broker and broker. And the debt will go up and the debt will be a little too much. And then financial issues will ensue. By the way, in China, the Zhengxia Bank went down. 40 other banks are facing problems. And they have I think I read 345%, I forget what. Anyway, they're all screwed. They're screwed. So, yeah, if you're in France and you make any kind of money, get out. And don't go to LA. Yep. Because even here, things aren't real, right? This is the kind of stuff that is happening here. These are our leaders. Gascon, this guy, I don't know how he's still in power. He's a Soros DA, right? Lower crime. He said there's lower crime, but it's actually not true. It's crap. It's false. It's a political ploy. It's not true. Stats are actually increasing. Of course they are. By failing to enforce certain laws, by reducing the penalties for committing crime, we are all less safe. No-ished Sherlock. So when you think back to these other things, these are the kind of stuff that our institutions and politicians are working on. They're working on cow farts and making sure that nice, good, clean, wholesome milk is as freaking expensive as possible by taxing the crap out of cow farts in Denmark, which will spread across Europe like your significant other's Dutch oven in the nighttime. Oh, man, sorry. I had to do a fart joke with the cow thing. And then you look at this left-wing thing with the 90%. What are people going to do when they're not, when you're beholden to the state to give you everything, crime goes up. You know why? Because you still want stuff. I tell my students, the reason why communism doesn't work is because humans desire. Nobody wants to be in their job for the rest of their life, wants to get the same pay for the rest of their life, wants to be in the same hovel for the rest of their life. You actually want more as you get older. Trust me, I know. I'm getting up there. I'm 50 years old, and there's a lot of things I still want. There are. In times of flitting, as Daddy said. I'm not getting any younger. So I've only got 15 to 20 more years of worky, and then I want to chill. I do. I want to retire comfortably. Excuse me. So when all that goes on, and then you think of the institutions that are running, I got to put it down. I got to see it again. Being on time is part of a hemoglobin suppression program. I'll put it at that. So these are the people running the show, right? These are the people, these are our betters. These are the people that are running the show. These are the greatest people ever. These are the ones that are going to lead us to the promised land, folks. People like Gascon. I think his name is George Gascon. Maybe he come from France. George Gascon. Gascol. All right, so his election campaign, he said violent crime is actually down, though he admitted property crime has increased just a teensy bit, right? Yeah, it's a little growth in the property crime. No big deal. It's not like people in the upper echelons and richer neighborhoods of LA are not hiring private security teams and getting dogs that'll rip your nuts off if you look at them wrong and try to jump over the 12-foot tall border fence they have to erect around their compound. You know, they used to have homes in Los Angeles. Now they have compounds with frickin' moats. So every year the state attorney general releases crime statistics report. Current attorney general Rob Bonta is a formerly fervent ally of Gascon. Of course he is. It's California. This year's report, released about a week ago, shows that statewide both violent and property crimes have increased. Well, fiddly-dee, I had no clue. Tell me more. Violent crime rate increased 3.3% in 2023 from 494.6 in 2022 to 511 per 100,000 people. So, that's 2023. So you know 2024 is going up. 2018 and 2023 violent crime rate increased by 15%. That's a heck of a rise. I know that the rates of gun death have gone down since the 90s by about 50%. Yep. That makes sense. 30 years, 35 years, 50% down. Yeah. Violent crime going up by 15% in 5 years. That's a bit of a that's someone not doing their job. That's George Gascon worrying about things he shouldn't be worrying about. That's not a good job. But he'll get reelected. Thanks, George. Thanks, Mr. Soros. Property crime rate decreased 1.8% in 2023 from 2,313.6 in 2022 to 2,272.7 in 2023. But from 2018 to 2023, the property crime rate decreased 3.8%. So I guess that's good news. So personally, between property crime and violent crime, I'd rather have violent crime go down than property crime. Take my kid's bike. No problem. We can get a new one. Doing terrible things to any one of my family members, yeah, that's going to evoke a response. So, Los Angeles, the increases are similar, and Gascon's claims in the past 9 months. So criminals learning from one another. Shoplifting isn't a crime now, thanks to Prop 47. In 2022, there were 21,217 reported incidents. 2023, 34,303 incidents. That's a bit of a shift up. So they're basically, like he said, he's getting blasted for obfuscation. That's confusing. That's manipulating the numbers. That's doing some chicanery with the numbers and everything. So looking back at the beginning of this term, increases are even more apparent, with property crimes going up about 20%, violent crimes increasing 14%. You know, what do these people expect? And the other thing is, like, if you know what they're doing in other big cities in America, they're not reporting crimes the way they used to. Why? Because it's an election year. You can't show that crime is going up. If you show crime going up, then all that's going to happen is you're going to lose the election. So you gotta play around with the numbers. we gotta get a little inventive, right? We gotta create. So that's what they do. Go in there and they play around with the numbers and don't report them. And all of this, I mean, all this stuff, like, this whole thing is dumb. All of it. It's dumb not to have, shoplifting as a crime. If you're going into stores and you're stealing stuff, if you're committing property crime, you should get in trouble for that. If you're, I don't know. I actually saw a sign in San Francisco, different city, but still same problem. I saw a sign in San Francisco that said, make sure you steal under $500 because under $500 is not a crime. It's I don't even know what it is. I don't even know if it's like a misdemeanor. So the criminals are getting smart. Everybody's getting smart. And that's the overarching theme of all of this, the environment. Let me put all this together. That's why I do this. I get, 3-4 stories. I play them off each other. But what I really want you to know is that this is the environment that is being created. It is an environment of stupidity. It is stupid to tell people that they don't have to show up on time for their job. It is stupid to take the focus and make it so the people that are creating our food are having more and more pressure from state taxes and everything, so the prices go up. It is stupid to think for 1 second that people that are making $400,000 a year are not going to say, you know what, I'm moving out of insert idiot communist state here. Francistan, Parisistan, whatever you want to call it. I'm not doing this. I'm done. I can't handle it. And it's just, we're leaving. That's what we did. And it is stupid to think that you're going to be able to play around and fudge the numbers with something like crime. And people aren't going to, get ideas. Number one state to leave from right now is California, if I remember correctly. I know it switches off with Illinois, but Illinois is doing the same thing. Didn't Illinois have that thing where they had, what was their crime law? Something similar. This is going on across the board. Pittsburgh, they don't have, people in the cop shop, the police officers, between I think 4 and 8 a.m. or something like that, because they think criminals go to sleep. No, criminals will stay up. They'll sniff some fun candy and they'll stay up, and then they'll go make more money from fun candy because they know that no one is around. Criminals are going to go into nicer neighborhoods in Los Angeles because they know that the chances are nothing's going to stop them. There's not going to be enough cops in the street. There's not going to be enough anything. People are going to know this. Criminals are going to know this. They're going to get good. They're going to get smarter. They're going to manipulate the system. Why? Because they're criminals. That's what they do. We're creating an environment here in this country and in the West of stupidity, where the dumbest of the dumb is rewarded, and the people, the hardworking individuals that are just trying to live in a nice, safe society and have a little bit of family time and work their job and do something. And that's most people. Most people just want to be left alone. Most people just want to, have a nice job and a nice life and a little bit of comfort and hang out with their friends and their family and just be left alone. And all of this stuff is coming for them. You don't think that the Duke medical thing isn't going to affect you? If you are in a pinch, or not a pinch, if you're having cancer treatments and it is culturally pushed as acceptable through medical school that you don't have to be at the cancer appointment on time, that's bad. A doctor should be there on time, okay? Everybody should be on time, really. Things happen, but really we should all be on time. Attacking farmers is stupid because it's going to make our prices go up, and then when prices go up, misery goes up. It is stupid to tax the richest amongst us at a point where they're going to leave. And it is definitely stupid to not take care of our society through criminal justice and making it so people that do shoplifting and other crimes that are kind of gateway crimes to bigger and badder stuff, it's stupid to just let those things go and not think, you know what, we got to stop this stuff. Because people will do what a lot of people are doing in these big cities, folks. They're going to leave. We left. I know a lot of people have left. And now the problem is, because of price rises in a crappy housing market, it's going to stay that way, and people aren't going to be able to get out. And they're going to be caught with their pants down. And they're not going to be able to leave. They're not going to be able to get away from crime. And crime will go up. And things perpetuate itself. That's why they call it broken windows policing, you know, or whatever it is. You go and you stop the little stuff, and the big stuff follows suit. You stop the shoplifting. You stop the little assaults and the little this and the little that. You stop all that crap, and you show people that no matter what they do, if they're doing this crap, that an effective police force is going to stop them from doing such stupid things. They're not going to graduate on to bigger things. If you get in there and you kick a door down and you steal everybody's stuff and no one responds and nothing happens to you, you're going to move on to bigger stuff. You're going to go to bigger houses. And that's kind of where we're at with all this. So, it's not going to get better. People running the show are idiots. I don't really think we're going to be able to do traditional means to get people out. That's why I think we need people like Javier Milei, people, you know, honestly, like Trump, you know, say what you will about him. They're going to go in there and they're going to look these people in the eye and say, you know what, F you, you're stupid, this whole thing is dumb that you're perpetuating on us. And I've had enough. And you know what, I think a lot of people have had enough. I'm looking around at articles to look at, and these things, man, they're easy to find. I don't have to look that hard. And that's the other problem, is the more these people stay in power, the more they're going to gaslight us. This is all a gaslighting exchange right here. Hey, the crime is down. Crime's down, folks. We're good. And meanwhile, you look at the state stats, and they're showing increase. Well, you're just lying to us. You're gaslighting us, right? That's what's going on. And it's going to get worse. And, you know, if you make it so the people in charge are not held accountable and they can, you know, flub the numbers and not report and do whatever they can to stay in power, they're going to keep doing it. I remember when I got sober. I'm gonna end on this. My sponsor said, you know, you do the right thing, and the next right thing is going to happen. And I've kind of lived that way. And it goes the other way too. If you do the wrong thing, the next wrong thing is going to happen. And that's kind of where we're at in this society. We've got all these wrong things going on, and then they perpetuate and make more wrong things go on. We need a society where we're doing the right things. We need a society where we're punishing crime and we're, you know, not going after farmers and we're not going after people that are creating jobs, and we're not, you know, doing stupid programs of literally like division. I mean, all that whole thing is the Duke medical school thing. That's just that's Marxist conflict theory 101. Divide the people up, make them fight against each other, and you know, take over when you want. Kind of tired. I'm tired of dumb, folks. I don't know about you. If you're tired of dumb, put a 1 in the comments. And as you leave, please hit the like button and subscribe if you're new here. I know it's late. Sorry, I got busy. I was hanging out with my wife. But yeah, if the dumb is just kind of getting to you, which is getting to me, thank you. I'm seeing a lot of 1s. It's just, we're at absurd time now. I don't know. I'm tired of the absurdity. So, we're going to keep talking common sense here. It's not common sense to lie about crime. It's not common sense to tax people at 90%. It's not common sense to hurt our farmers, and it's definitely not common sense to think that you can blame being not on time on skin color. It's just idiocy. So, all right, friends, you know what to do. Hit the buttons, leave a comment, all that kind of stuff. I appreciate you being here. God bless you all, and we'll see you on the next one. PrepperNow out.